the Nike Pegasus 40 may be the most minor of updates that we've seen in some time, but the Pegasus is still the de facto daily trainer, and it truly is Nike's workhorse with wings. So with the Nike Pegasus 40, it is a even year, which means we get the minor update. The way the Pegasus updates in the Nike line is that every 2 years there is a significant update, and that usually happens on the odd numbered years. So the 35, the 37, the 39, they all got big changes, where the 36, the 38, and the 40 are all fairly minor changes, mostly in the upper. But the difference between the 35 and the 36, you felt the difference. The 36 felt very differently. It ran much lighter. It felt like a different Pegasus, but it still sort of was related to the 35. The 37 to 38 was a bigger change. The 38 got not only a more generous upper, but they also tuned the airbag in the forefoot between the 37 and the 38. So the 38 ran much softer. It felt significantly different, and that was by design from Nike. However, now with the 39 to the 40, there are some differences in the upper, but they are so minor that, frankly, if you prefer the colorways of the 39 and you can find a good deal on them, just get the 39. There's literally no difference. To the point where I have now run between these two shoes. This is my 39 that has about 200 kilometers on it, and this is my 40 that I have about 30 kilometers on. Yesterday, I ran in both of these shoes. I did a 10K, I did the first 5K in this, the second 5K in this, and frankly, there was very little difference. There is a difference because this shoe has 200 kilometers on it, and a Pegasus breaks in, becomes more flexible. The midsole sort of molds to your foot inside the shoe. I can feel that in this shoe, whereas this is still fairly new shoe, so I don't have that in this shoe. But other than that, if you would have blindly put them on my feet, I don't think I could tell a difference, particularly if they're both brand new. They just feel exactly the same. But that being said, there are 4 kind of main changes to the 40 that make it a little different, and there's one of them that may make it more interesting for you depending on how you felt about the 39. So the first change that you can visually see in the 40 from the 39 is really in the heel counter. It is much lower in the 40 than it is in the 39, and I think that's an okay thing. Honestly, the heel lock in this shoe is the same. The padding around the heel collar is the same. That doesn't fit any difference. But if that higher heel counter bothered your Achilles in the 39, you may want to look at the shoe because it is a little lower. We're talking a few millimeters, but it is significantly lower visually on your foot. So it will sit lower on your Achilles. So it may irritate it less if you had that problem in 39. The second big change in here is the tongue. So I always thought the 39 had a tongue that was too short. Never gave me any problems, never caused any sort of irritation or pinching or anything. It just visually, it always looked too short. But Nike is upping the bar on short tongues with the 40, where they've now put in a tongue which I think actually is too short, but it's not given me any problems. There's been no pinching, no chafing. There's no issue, even with a runner's knot on this. What it does do is visually, when this shoe sits on your heel or sits around your foot, this lower heel counter and all the padding around this, that sits very, very low profile down on your ankle. And visually, it looks a little strange. It looks like a low profile sock. But it all works. It doesn't cause any irritation, doesn't cause any pinching. And like I said, that the tongue is still as padded as what was in the 39. It's just, it's now even shorter. Visually, it looks a little strange, but performance-wise, there's no difference. The third one is you can see in this shoe is that the Flywire is gone. So the Flywire is the pink stuff you see around the lacing. It has now been replaced with just sort of a more substantial lace lock system. Nike is calling this the arch lock system, which means it's one piece of material that starts here, wraps around under the shoe, and comes up on the other side. I've not had any sort of lockdown issues. I've not had any sort of midfoot problems. One of the problems I've had with Flywire in the past, which was not an issue, was that because these all sort of functioned independently, sometimes it could create like a weird pinching in certain areas as it contoured to your foot. Whereas now in the 40, since Flywire is gone, you don't have any of that. Honestly, like I said, I haven't had any sort of midfoot lockdown problems in the shoe. It does feel a little different, but it doesn't perform any different. And honestly, I think it only feels different because this is new and I'm not used to it yet. I think in another 50 to 100 kilometers in the shoe, I'm probably not going to notice a difference. It is that minor. The fourth one, and I think this is probably the most significant, is that the upper on the 40 is much more open. And I think you can see it better on this shoe. This is a brand new one. I haven't run in this one. This is what you saw in the upfront B-roll. But you can see it really well in this shoe where the upper is very open in this shoe to the point where, and this could be perception only, but the toe box in the 40 feels more generous. Now, I'm nearly positive this is the same last as the 39. So there's no added width in this shoe. It's the same shoe, but since the upper on the 40 has a little bit more give to it, the toe box does feel more generous in volume, not width, in volume. Is it enough that if the 39 was too tight, the 40 is going to fit you really well? No. Like I said, it could be perception only, but I do feel my toes wiggle. I can wiggle my toes a little bit more in this shoe than I could in the 39. It's not a game changer. It doesn't change the performance of the shoe. Honestly, I think on longer runs, like 20 to 25K plus runs, maybe I'll appreciate that because there'll be a little bit more room up here and my toes will get a little less beaten down. But other than that, this shoe does not fit significantly different. It is just a little bit more open. And the material of this upper is actually, I think, a little bit nicer. I actually quite like the upper on the 40 and I like the upper on the 39. But I think the 40 is actually a little bit better. And I think when it gets really hot in the summer, this will be better. To be honest, I live in a subtropical environment. It's already really hot where I am. And airflow in the shoe is great. It's better than 39, frankly. It's not significantly better like you would have in, say, the Alpha Fly 2 or something that's a really open weave, but there is a noticeable difference. So what hasn't changed in this shoe is it's still fundamentally the same as the 39. We still have 33 mil stack height in the heel with 23 in the forefoot, gives you a 10 mil drop. The shoe, I don't remember the weight on the 39. The 40 is a little bit heavier on paper than the 39, but honestly, I don't notice it. It doesn't feel any different weight-wise on my foot. It's still React, it's still got the 2 airbags. Literally, this is the same shoe. One thing that also has not changed, which I think is probably one of the best things about the Pegasus, is this outsole. This outsole, I think, is probably one of the best Pegasus outsoles that we've had in a long time, and we've had some pretty good ones. But this full rubber coverage that is available on the Pegasus, I know is what some people don't like about the Pegasus, but honestly, I think it's one of the best things about the Pegasus and why this is such an amazing daily trainer, and it has not changed at all on the 40, and that is an amazing thing. I can take this shoe anywhere. In fact, I just got back from traveling for a month, and I ran on my 39s. I ran on these 39s in asphalt, concrete, technical trail, mud, dirt, gravel, track, grass. I ran in everything in this shoe and it was amazing. I have a few of those sort of multi-surface runs in this shoe. It feels amazing. This outsole is what makes one of the many things that makes the Pegasus so good, and it has not changed in the shoe, and that's a good thing. So there you go. Very minor changes. Again, if you like the colorways of the 39 better, just get the 39. Is it a bit of a bummer that the 40, being the 40th anniversary of the Pegasus, is such a minor revision? Sure, but the 50 is only 10 generations away. I think there'll be a bigger deal on that. Even though that is an even year, I think Nike will probably do something pretty major for the 50th anniversary of this shoe. And I do think we're in for some significant changes in the Pegasus 41 next year. I have a whole video about that. I'll put a link in the description. Plus, it's my last video, so go take a look at that if you're interested. But otherwise, let me know in the comments what you think about the 40. Are you running in it? Do you love it? Again, I still think it's the best daily trainer that's out there. These minor changes have not made the shoe any better, but they've not made it any worse. And frankly, I'm okay with that. I like a shoe when it's consistent, and I put in thousands of kilometers in the Peg 39, and I expect probably to do the same in the 40. So that's it for today. Please like and subscribe. Helps a new channel out significantly. I have a lot more content coming. So with that, I'll see you in the next one.